Ready?
This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. I'm here together with Jonah and the well-known Jorge de la Cruz in this new webinar series called the Automation Desk Spotlight. And the goal of this series is to give a spotlight to one of the amazing projects that people have been created. And Jorge, with his Grafana Dashboards, will be the first one to kick off. Jorge, for everyone who does not know who you are, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, Maurice. Hello, Jonah. Thank you for having me here. Madalena as well. Thank you for organizing this event. My name is Jorge de la Cruz. I'm a senior director here at Veeam. I have been working for Veeam 8 years already. Before joining Veeam, I was part of the community. I think I still am because I'm always contributing to the community as much as I can, GitHub and whatnot, and trying to go to the Beam 100 events and whatnot. But yeah, I was part of the inaugural or initial Veeam Vanguard group back in 2015 in Las Vegas. So that was quite nice. And yeah, I at Veeam I manage Veeam One. It's my main product. Veeam Intelligence as well. If you are using Veeam Intelligence, and right now as well, if you have seen Veeam On in New York, I'm I'm the I'm contributing to the data AI resilience module, which is really elevating the Veeam backup and replication servers and showing them into the new cloud console that Veeam is building. So that was announced at VeeamON. So I'm heavily contributing there as well.
Awesome. Jonah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. If you guys don't know me, I'm Jonah May. I am what is it now? 4 or 5 year Veeam Vanguard, somewhere in there. And among other things, the user group leader alongside Maurice for the automation desk.
And don't forget about the co-founder of the Veeam Community Hackathon.
Yeah, that too. Well, I said among other things.
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
want to list the whole resume off.
Yeah, no, well, my name is Maurice Kevenaar, VG leader, VG NL, Automation Desk, ACE, Object First ACE, co-founder of the Veeam Community Hackathon. Um, So, Jorge, you created a slide deck that I am having here. I
Yeah,
think you
yeah,
want to start off with an agenda.
yeah. Just move over. Yes, the next slide.
Okay.
So what you will learn during this session, what we have, like 40 minutes more or less, right?
Yeah,
Is may,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, maybe Q&A as well, right? So let's see, maybe it will take less time. I don't know, maybe more. We want to go through the integration, so how the Grafana plugins into a Vim environment and where the REST API fits. Dashboards, where we want to show you all of the Grafana dashboard, not all of them, but most of them that we have out there. The customization as well, or tips, and then as well the community as well with links, right? So we move to the next slide, please. Let's take a look here. So the challenge, right? So the the challenge is that Veeam protects everything, as you know, and well, that's not a challenge. It's perhaps like a benefit, but at the same time, when you want to really understand how are we doing when you have multiple environments that like Veeam backup and replication, you may have Veeam one to monitor multiple Veeam backups and replications, but then, for example, Veeam one does not cover Veeam backup for Salesforce in the case that you have that, right? And so on and so forth, right? So um, this is really the challenge, that Veeam might have it has many products, and there is no a single console, at least not today. Maybe with this new integration in the cloud console, I think this is going to be resolved. But until that is there, I think that is why we're here talking about this community product, right? So many platforms, many UIs, many reports, just to try to answer the same question: how are we doing itself? So we move to the next slide. The data is there, which is the beauty of this, and there is multiple ways you can collect the data on this. We have been using the best way possible, which is using REST API. But yeah, the VBR console, then we have the Veeam One, then we have the VSPC 365. Again, you name it, right? They have different logins, they have different terminology most of the times regarding what they are protecting sometimes, and it is a bit hard to correlate across the products by looking looking at the different UIs. And especially sometimes this is even hard to serve outside of the team, right? If you are a backup admin today, you have a few Veeam solutions, even a few VBRs, and you don't have Veeam One or Enterprise Manager, for example, that can be difficult to really share. What are you protecting and what not? So yeah, and the reporting takes manual stitching. Again, in the case that you don't have Veeam One or Enterprise Manager or VSPC, if you don't have any of those, doing reporting sometimes, yeah, it can be. I'm sure you have been using PowerShell,
Every Monday
other
morning.
ones. Yeah. So okay, let's go. So one of the solutions, because this is not kind of like the silver bullet, but I will say that perhaps it's one of my favorites because it's open source. So if we go here, Grafana, right, is not the only option because you have always been one, with the caveat that it doesn't support all of the Veeam products, talking about the Salesforce and Kasten and so on. But yeah, or even if you want to do open source, you always have Savix as well, that there's like a very solid solution. I will say you have as well uh, OpenMK, you have Prometheus, but in any case, so when you're trying to put everything together, I think Grafana it is a good solution. It's open source, it's vendor neutral, so it's not just it's going to show you just your Veeam and that's it. You can just show anything, right? They have many plugins, and you can just connect to any database pretty much, right? We tend to usually or on this project using Influx database, InfluxDB, but you can connect to Prometheus, you can connect to SQL, you can connect to any source really. That's what they say that is already there. For what I see on customers, when I talk to many of the large customers, they usually have Grafana for many other purposes. They might be for more real-time monitoring for other things that they have in. Sometimes they just have it for the networking and whatnot, but Grafana is very widely spread, so that is why it's a good solution in my opinion. For the templating and sharing, this is the beauty. How I do these Grafanas is like I build them once, I do the template, so I put variables there on the top and whatnot. So I prepare the queries in a way that they can be reused with anyone, right? I build the dashboard as much as I think is going to solve the problem, and then I share it with the community, and it's plug and play, which is one of the beauties of Grafana right now. No customizations whatsoever needed for the plug and play. You can do it later, of course, and customize everything you want and need, but yeah, the plug and play it's very compelling to me. The massive dashboard library is not that just you can use the out of the box that we put together already. I put many in the Grafana library, but if you search by Veeam Grafana, there is other people doing as well other dashboards. So, and if they are not Grafana, but you are just curious about okay, how I can display specific data, they you are going, most likely you're going to find a dashboard that it might suit your needs, and you can take that widget and the logic at least. The alerts and automation, that is nice, but that just comes natively with Grafana, right? Depends if you use the open source or the enterprise, you can have more or less functionality on Grafana, but even on the open source, you have a very nice integration for alarms happening based on your queries, right? So if something is failing, or you can just create pretty much anything to create alarms.
From the Grafana dashboards, I've been using components that complement other things within the Veeam ecosystem, like a Postgres or Nets database, and create dashboards with that data as well. It's
Nice,
really
nice.
powerful.
Yeah, you took it as well. I mean, you did it with InfluxDB in any case, but you
Mhm.
expanded with Object First as well, right? Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, I created an I wanted to keep that out of the scope, sir, but yeah, I did. I created an object first dashboard for
mm,
the appliances that they create. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so I wanted to mention it because it can always be plugged in together, right?
Mhm.
You have your all your Veeam monitoring, but you know what? Hey, I have an appliance here, which in this case is Object First, and it happens to have APIs.
Yep.
So hey, let's put it together so you expand whatever we're building for Veeam, plus really deep statistics regarding your storage, because why not, right? That's the
Yeah,
beauty of
exactly.
what we're
It, it,
building
it
here.
it's really powerful. You can switch dashboards and add combined dashboards and whatnot. It's really powerful.
We did, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Let's see. So let's talk about the plumbing a bit. What's what here? So every Veeam product ships a REST API. That is one of the strengths of Veeam that I like since the beginning. You know, in the beginning of the days, VBR didn't have any API. It was just Enterprise Manager, the first product shipping an API for quite some time. It was a very rudimentary and still it's still working, but it's very old. It's not based in the open API specification. It's something very weird, but in any case, it works, and I've been using that since the beginning. But then after that, products starting to release in with APIs, right? Perhaps Veeam Availability Console was one of the first ones that it really introduced very compelling API. Then the Veeam backup for Azure, AWS, and whatnot. Then they were expanding the API, Veeam backup for Microsoft 365 as well. The API was since version perhaps 1.5 or something. So, but that's the beauty that every new Veeam product or any Veeam product that you are installing or using today, most likely is going to have a REST API, and that is what you can unlock. All the visibility you can unlock it thanks to the API, right? And moreover, even if the API doesn't have something that you need, most likely on the API that the web UI you are consuming is using, which is Veeam call it sometimes internal API, you can, with the web browser and the DevTools, you can clearly see the endpoints that they're being called and the response, and you can always take that API endpoint and then put that into Grafana as well. Not recommended by V, but yeah, you can do that. Yeah. So the picture end to end, this is what I have been doing for years. I'm not saying that you should do this, but there might be other ways, but this is what I've been doing in particularly, right? We have been products, you name it. Then for years, I've been building like an exporter or a script. So there's two ways. With an exporter, you can use either Telegraph, which is very nice. And then with Telegraph, do a few API calls or even do SQL queries directly to the database if that's what you want to do. Um, Telegraph has many inputs that you can, customize, or you can use a Bash shell script or PowerShell script. Most of my stuff it's using a Bash shell script in Linux. But yeah, now with AI, that is because at the beginning I started building all the with Bash shell script, and now with AI, I'm pretty sure that you can just take any of my Bash shell scripts and convert that into PowerShell and then do the same, right? It will do the same stuff, collecting the same data from the same endpoints with the same logic and sending to the step number 3, which is the time series database. I choose InfluxDB in this case, but you can choose any other database that it suits your needs, right? There are many open source, like the Prometheus is another one. Then you have as well like QuestDB, Arc as well. Yeah, you have many mm, databases. And then
Mhm.
finally, the final step is the Grafana, right? The building the dashboards, the alerts, the sharing, the queries. That is where you are most likely. I mean, if you take the plug and play dashboards, then you just land there and, and you have everything ready. But if you want to expand it on the building the queries, that's where your time is going to be most likely building those queries. Again, now with AI, and depending on the time series that you utilize, you might have like a visual builder. For example, InfluxDB has a visual builder on the InfluxDB side. If you pick anything more conventional, like more SQL based or Prometheus, you have the query builder on inside Grafana, so you can just go very manually to select this from here, and it's very clickable
Yeah.
and it's very nice. But you can always go into the query itself. And again, now with AI, I've been trying a few to improve a few of the dashboards that I have. Well, whatever it is, you just put there and say like, hey, change this for that, and you don't need to do the queries anymore. AI does for you. But yeah, this is my flow that I've been doing. And if you give it a try, this is what you will install. Having the script and having the time series and the Grafana. Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the
Yeah, let's
next.
go to the dashboard, the
Yeah, let's go
more
to.
visual part for everyone, because this is
Yeah, yeah,
all theory, and let's go to
yeah.
the actual looks.
Yes, yes. Now for the fun part, yeah, every dashboard that follows is on grafana.com. There is like a library already. That's one of the beauties that I like from Grafana, is that there is all about the community. They have the Grafana dashboards. That is all community, uploading their all of their creations, and yeah, you have there thousands and thousands of them, and you will see them by the IDs later on. That I don't know, the IDs is 8,000, whatever. I don't know. There's many dashboards in the community, so that is the fun part. I think I've been looking today at the numbers. There is a few, like 5,000, perhaps even more. Downloads combined of multiple dashboards that I've been putting there for Veeam. For VMware vSphere, there's like millions, but for Veeam, they are a bit more than 5,000. So I'm going to show you VBR, VSPC, 365, public cloud, and so on. So let's take a look.
Yeah, but 5,000 is an impressive number. I can say that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
So you see the numbers here. The numbers are absolutely crazy because the IDs, oh, by the way, these IDs are the IDs. We're going to share the deck later with you. These IDs are the IDs that you can find in grafana.com, right? So you just go to grafana.com/ and you put the ID, then you're going to see the dashboard. And the ID, well, essentially is the ID is incremental. So every dashboard that you keep uploading, it has an incremental one, so you can see how many dashboards have been people uploading there, and you can even see the time when I upload them, right? So the VBR overview is much older, or the enterprise manager, super old, compared with the VBR doing the direct export approach that I did for the VSA not that long ago. That it was already 24,000, right? So it's double compared with the initial dashboard that I uploaded. I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or 8 years ago, right? So yeah, it's funny to see this. Let's move to the next, because these are just the IDs. Yeah, click once. Okay, so this is the VBR. This is the dashboard that you can get out of the box for VBR API, native VBR API. So as long as you put my Bazel script, connect to your VBR or VBRs, I'm talking with a few customers that they have the same script. They just clone it, as many VBRs as they have, because my script does not support the data collection from many. You just clone the Bazel script and that's it. And yeah, they have like around 50 different VBRs. And the beauty is that all of them go to InfluxDB nicely, blah, blah, blah. And then they have the toggle on the top, and they can just filter this view per VBR, which is very nice. And that came out of the box with Grafana and InfluxDB. So that is quite nice. There's lots of things to unpack here. So there is the daily success and warning or errors jobs. Then there will be the tiles with the fail, success. Those are the jobs, the big tiles that it says fail, success, success, success. Those are jobs. So you can clearly see the last status by job with a big tile. And if you put it on monitor, I have a monitor here. Like I'm this geek, I have my own NOC here. I have my monitor in vertical here. hanging from a bookshelf, and I'm seeing this stuff that you see there. I'm just seeing here on my left, which is pretty nice. And more information regarding jobs and whatnot. What I like from there as well is the bubble. Kind of, it's the second widget from the top right. The bubble
This
thing
one.
is, yeah, that one. So the bubble thing, it's regarding time duration of the jobs. And if you see your bubbles within the norm, it's okay. But if some job goes wrong and crazy, you are going to clearly see the bubble out. So it really stands out from your day-to-day operation. So again, you see your bubbles on the norm, is okay. If there is a spike, instead of showing lines, I just showing here bubbles or lollipops. I don't know how they even call it, different names, but
No, yeah, I think bullets are fine, or
yeah,
balloons. Yeah,
balloon dot, maybe dot.
dot.
Okay, so that's VBR. You can get that out of the box. Let's move. This is the enterprise manager. This is as old as the wind, you know. This is the first I did. Very, very old. Similar concepts. I really liked the jobs altogether. So that is nice. And I included the other tiles that are a bit smaller there, that it has to fail. That is the last status per workload per VM, right? So again, that can be, quite frankly, a bit crazy, but you can always filter it on the top. I'm
But
talking
you,
that you have 1,000 VMs, you need to
yeah,
have a very large screen to show 1,000 VMs there. But
yeah,
yeah,
but it can also show you which are not backed up.
yeah, it clearly shows the one
Yeah.
that is no data is the ones that they don't have, that they do not have a restore point. Surely you can filter that on the top. That's the beauty. You do not need to show all of the fail success no data. You can always say, hey, show me just the fail plus no data. That's the beauty of Grafana dashboards.
Mm.
And again, I built this to be very visual, and to put it into knock state. You can always change these queries and show them into a table, just to be more reporting wise, instead of like, hey, this visual impact with or everything in red. So it just depends of the use case. Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Oh, okay. We move. Yeah. It's okay. We cannot see clearly. This last one, maybe I play wrongly with the order. This last one, it is regarding the. We're going to see it on the next one. Uh, this one is the Veeam software appliance. We cannot see the other one either. Yeah, the Veeam software appliance. But I'm going to explain it. The Veeam software appliance, it came in version 13 with no monitoring by default. You can install Veeam monitor, Veeam client, Veeam agent, and then you can get the CPU, RAM, and whatnot to Veeam, and that's good. That's beauty. That's perfect. But um, you cannot monitor it with tools, right? With the open source tools. So what I did is just using the Veeam credentials, the Veeam the Veeam admin credentials, not using the host manager, just the normal Veeam credentials. I created a script that you put on your software appliance that is reading with the low privilege that the Veeam account has on the operating system, which is nothing. That account cannot change anything, and it cannot install anything either. So it's just a small Basel script that it reads the data that it has access to, and it pulls the data it directly pulls the data into your InfluxDB. Non-supported whatsoever, but it was nice and very harmless, I would say, because it doesn't have any login or whatever. It just collects the data and pushes out. And the other one that you cannot see was about XFS, that I built back in the day. Let's move from this fiasco of slides that I put.
Don't call it a fiasco. Things can happen.
Yeah. So then we have for Veeam Service Provider Console. These are very old as well, as by the ID that you can see, the 9690 and the 91. That was the day that back a few years ago, where you could take hours or days to upload dashboards, and it will still be the next, because there weren't too many people uploading dashboards. But now that's impossible. You upload one dashboard, upload another one in an hour or something, and yeah, these are 200 different ones. So this is a good project. This evolved, and I'm happy that someone took it from the community, and not from my GitHub, but from the Veeam hub that we have the Grafanas there as well. Some service provider took my initial dashboards and they elevated to the next level. Let's take a look at my dashboards, that they are very, classic. Yeah, you see, this was very classic. This was per tenant, and it was even when it was called Veeam Availability Console. This is the tenant view, and the next screen, hopefully it works. Oh, it goes back as well. Oh my goodness,
It's behind.
are we doing here? Yeah, it's behind.
I'm sorry.
Everything will be broken. No, it's myself. Yeah. So these were very rudimentary, but then someone took the scripts and they expanded much better. So that example was very nice to see. Okay, let's go to the next ones. This is for 365. For 365, I created a few because this is a very great product in backup for Microsoft 365. It is a product that it does not have much visibility by default, right? We have a few reports that are out of the box in the 365. You have more visibility once you connect it to Veeam One, which, by the way, it's for free and included with the Veeam One license and with the 365 license, right? Not in community, but as long as you have 365 license, Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365, you can just put your Veeam One, and we are going to detect, hey, you don't have anything else, no VMware, no VBR, nothing, just Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. You open your Veeam One, connect to the Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365, and then there is a dashboards and reports and whatnot, right? So you can just get a few of these in Veeam One. But the dashboards I created is the user audit for the restore portal, the backup health and SLA style summary, kind of like similar to the VBR, the restore activity view, that I built it first into the Grafana and open source, and then later, as I kind of moved to Veeam 1 PM, I just took all of that work and say, guys, this dashboard is very nice. Let's make it real into Veeam 1. So that was good, and we productized that. Productize something that it was community based. We moved it into the product, which it was nice. And the final one is about the operational dashboard. So let's take a look. It's going to happen the same, yes. But
Yeah.
This initial view, this is for the change drift. So for this specific one, I'm doing something different. I was collecting the logs from the Veeam backup for Microsoft 365 in Windows, right? The logs that are on the app data folder, and I applied a few grok queries. So I was just getting things like, for example, this specific admin has created one job, this specific other admin has edited one job, this other admin has deleted one job, which it shouldn't happen, but when things happen, this was the visibility. You click next, we're not going to see it, right? There's nothing there.
No,
Oh,
there's nothing there.
okay, okay,
There's something popping up
yeah,
behind it, but unfortunately,
yeah. So, yeah, maybe yeah, that's okay. Then for Veeam Backup for AWS, Azure, and GCP, there are three that we are protecting today, right? We are protecting the whole, protecting AWS, Azure, GCP. These products in Veeam, they have like a nice comprehensive dashboard. If you log in into the appliance itself, some of this data, it's going into Veeam One as well. But in any case, there's not a single, I don't know, eye catcher dashboard. So if you go to the next slide, probably I think these are a bit more split into halves. So maybe we're going to see something. So at least this one. So we have Veeam Backup for Azure, and all of the other two for Veeam Backup for Azure and GCP, they're very similar. So what I built, it's in this case, because it's a bit more cloud and worldwide, right? That we have regions which with workloads on the cloud. That's what usually happens. I'm not saying that you have the things to protect in Europe and in the US. Most likely not, but maybe you do. You can always zoom in. So what the map is showing is the clear regions where you have workloads at risk, right? So it's very simple to understand. Hey, okay, I have something in the US, a red dot, and then from there you can just see what is at risk actually with mouse over. So that is the map, playing a bit of the the war games, but back from the 80s on the movie. Then there is the protected VMs overview, which is a pie chart between what's protected and what's not protected. Very simple. The bubble job duration, and finally, yes, very reporting job historical information with the things, and more inventory. The other widgets at the bottom, protected VMs and protected, that is really a catalog or an inventory of what you have protected and not protected, repos and whatnot. Yeah. If you just move, I think okay, well, I did at least I did this nice. Okay. Yeah, this is the same for AWS, as I mentioned. That's the beauty, that the three look very similar. And the other one, if you click, it might be Google, which is, as you can see, very, very similar. That's the beauty of they are all there. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. AHV and backup for Salesforce, I'm not going to show those. They are very similar. I just wanted to show you AHV. I I think I built that before, when it was kind of like an individual proxy appliance, and it has its own API. If I'm not mistaken, from the latest release, you cannot access the AHV proxy API anymore. It's already into the VBR. So if you have something like previous releases, you can use it. If you have something new, then no. Backup for Salesforce as well. Those IDs you can take a look. Let's go do a move quickly to the other slides. Veeam One. So for Veeam One, I have a few dashboards, and Veeam One is a massive product, right? So, but we've been investing a lot to expose APIs. So if we go to the next slide, hopefully we can see something there. Let's see.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
work.
So this is very interesting. This is the same I built for the VSA, but because I wasn't convinced, I was walking, on the red line about, being reported to HR and whatnot, and to put in something on the VSA, even if in community, I said like, okay, well, what about if I get the data from being one for the VSAs or for any other VBR? So what I built is a small, it is a small executable and a small .exe that you run on the Veeam one, and that executable, what it's going to do is is going to read the Microsoft SQL Server tables from Veeam one regarding the performance metrics for the VBRs, and it's going to expose them into a Node.js format. So you can just go into the Veeam one URL/metrics, and then you are going to see these metrics, and from once they export it as Node.js, you can collect them easily and build these nice graphs. The beauty of this is this is plug and play. Once again, you download this little file that is on GitHub, put it on the Veeam one. That's already starting to expose data, and then with that you collect it into Grafana easily. All the how-tos are in the GitHub, and you can see this dashboard across VBRs, including VSAs, without installing anything on the VSAs, just on the Veeam one server. The VSAs remain hardened, so yeah, you can see this. Okay, let's move next. Oh, okay, it's appearing now. Good. For the Veeam one as well, one view that I wanted as well for myself even is like, I wanted to see all of the jobs that, the latest job status that is been happening. So I just built this view, so you don't need to go to Veeam one. If you don't want, you can always just go here into Grafana. And again, if you're using Grafana today, sometimes it's tricky to tell to people, hey, go to Veeam one to check this. So do it the other way around. If you yourself, a customer, if you have Grafana already and you happens to have Veeam one, just take that data from Veeam one and put it here. So your flow every day, it remains unchanged, into Grafana. Okay, on the next final slide here, let's see.
That works.
Okay, and this is the same. This is the same, but for the objects. You can clearly see everything that is protected, when it was the last protected date, and age. The last protected date is the timestamp, but sometimes, I don't know, if I'm doing million of stuff and looking at both slides, I see dates and I can get confused easily. So I added as well with Grafana, I added the last protected age, so it converts. It kind of like checks the timestamp versus current time, so you can clearly see 10 months ago, 2 hours ago, just the human readable, so you don't need to think much about, okay, when it was the 9th of July 2024, that was that Tuesday or what. So okay, so that's the Veeam one view over there. Let's move to the next. Yes, the reference map. Let's move.
Yeah.
Let's go there. There is API reference maps. I'm going to only show. Thanks, Andre. So every API that you want to dive into it, we have maps for it. For example, for the Veeam backup for Veeam backup and replication, then we have a REST API map. REST API maps are PDFs that are visually showing to you all of the endpoints by category. Is this like better for observability? Is this for protected data? Is this for settings? It's very good, and I totally recommend you to navigate and bookmark these API reference maps. Yeah, let's go to the next.
Especially if you're doing things with API, those reference maps are really helping you finding the things and bits that you need.
Yes, because you can see the links, you can see the colors. You do not. I mean, the API reference that we have is great because it's documented. But before you jump into the API reference, sometimes you just want to even comprehend where you're going to,
Exactly.
jump into. So take a look at the maps. We keep them up to date every version, and I particularly like them. Okay, some tips. Yeah, there's not many slides left. So start with someone else's dashboard. I will say I have a few. The community has been built other dashboards for Veeam using Zabbix sometimes. So it just depends on what you want to do. But start with someone else. Start with Maurice, for example, for Object First if you want to see something about appliances, whatnot. Pick one product as well to start. If you have not doing anything, just pick one. I have BBR. I'm very curious about getting XYZ, or I have 365, and I really want to see this. Just pick one product. Use variables, not hard-coded values. If you use the variables on Grafana, it's going to allow you to, once again, to reuse that query and to put those variables on the top, so you can do dynamic filtering on the top, like, okay, filter by BBR name and whatnot, right? That's a perhaps even technical tip, like how you build this. Watch the unsupported flag. I showed you today a few very unsupported stuff, heavy unsupported, like putting a script in VSA. That's a no-go. Completely unsupported, even if it's harmless, as I said, completely no-go. Using private APIs, you can use them. Nothing's going to break, but that's not supported once again, and so on and so forth, right? Just always watch for that. Don't reinvent the metrics. If already is exposing the metric, you need, just fork it and clone it and then expand it, I will say, rather than try to come with a very complex query that, do whatever you want. But if the query is already there, I think I will probably say to reuse it. And share back.
Don't reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah. And please share back, right? If you create nice, beautiful dashboards, just let us know on the Veeam, on the community.veeam.com, share that with us, with all of us, so we can just, all of us get benefits as all of the dashboards I built for years. I never expected anything back. I always put them there for people to hopefully download, but just share it. It's always nice to share. Okay. 15 community dashboards. That's the ones I built for Veeam. 3 downloads only for the BBR. There is many other downloads on the other ones. All combines, they are 5,000 or more, as I mentioned. They're covering already 10 Veeam products. Well, a bit more than 10, right? Which with the latest dashboard. So if you have a use case, someone has probably already started. So don't start from scratch. Start from the closest one. Don't know if I have something else. What's coming today? Something very brief. I wanted to tell you that Node Exporter is coming in VBR 13.1. So we will not in VSA. So we will not need to do anything funky to expose the metrics from VBR in 13.1. So keep your eyes open because we will have very nice dashboard, community dashboard for 13.1 using the native Node Exporter. So we can just move from there.
That's just awesome.
Where to go next? Finally, all the Veeam Grafana dashboards are here, not just mine. If you just search by Veeam, then you're going to see anything that the people has created. Help Center for the REST API docs, the map for VBR, plugins, if you want to install any more plugins. You remember we did a session here a few years ago with you as well, Maurice.
Yeah.
I just put the YouTube link where we did a technical deep dive where we
I
installed.
think that was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. I just found the link
Yeah.
today, and I remember we had a very nice time together doing it by scratch, from scratch.
Yeah.
And finally visit, of course, the community that is very vibrant every day. Lots of conversations there. So I think these are my slides, right? You have something else to tell us, right?
Yeah. Well, that's for Jonah.
Yeah, we have the 4th annual Veeam Community Hackathon coming up in October. So if you want a chance to maybe work on a team with Jorge or build a project like what Jorge has done, if you have some awesome idea for automation or innovation in the community, sign up for the Veeam Community Hackathon. Registrations are open now through the end of September.
Nice.
Yeah. And if you want to join, here's this nice QR code with Alfred, of course. I've created a poll for everyone, by the way, in the chat. You will see it, I hope, for you to create to give an answer on if you're joining this year. So if you're not already signed up, just follow this QR code and sign up. And then we have our upcoming events that we are planning on doing. Oh, maybe I need to start the poll. That works. So for the upcoming events that we are doing will be within the same setup as we've done the last two ones, is the 101 series and the Spotlight series. For the next one, we are in the 101, we are going to get started with CI and testing. Then in July, we'll have another Spotlight that's still not confirmed at this point. In August, we do another 101 with AI coding tools. And September, we do a Spotlight again. In October, we have the Veeam Community Hackathon. So for everyone, I'm looking for responses in the polls. So please fill in the poll. And if there are no questions, I would like to say thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks for joining. Maybe there will be some questions. I don't know. Let's see. Let's give 1 minute to if someone has any question. Are you guys using any of the Grafana today? Maybe you are already using it.
I'm using it. That's for sure.
Nice. The VBR, are you using the VBR? Well, you're using Object First and then
currently mostly the 365 one.
Oh, 365. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Including ones for PG Bouncer, Postgres, and the Nets database.
Those you created yourself, yes?
No, the community created them.
Oh, community. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, there are awesome templates and dashboards already out of the box, and I only had to tweak just a minor thingy to get them working on our environment.
Nice.
And yeah, using the Prometheus exporters and sending it to Prometheus and then directly into our dashboards.
Awesome.
So.
Okay, I guess no questions. But
no questions. Oh, well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. And until the next one. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye, guys.